pupunta ata si President Marcos sa United States at magkikipagkita kay Trump at part of the negotiation ata na mangyayari is yung tariff, and of course it will definitely magdi-discuss yan sila when you talk about security and defense, lalo na't umiinit ang region natin vis-a-vis China at yung issue ng Taiwan at issue ng South China Sea. So ako, nangangamba ako na baka naman ang exchanges na ibibigay ng Marcos Jr. kay Trump, kasi Trump is a very transactional leader that, kailangan mo maibigay sa akin na something para maibigay ko ang gusto mo. Yun exchange deals ang pinag-uusapan dito. So baka naman lalo pang makompromise ang strategic autonomy independence ng ating bansa, lalo na ang soberenya ng Pilipinas, kung ang magiging exchanges as mas marami pang prepositioning ang military assets sa Pilipinas, increase in number of EDCA sites, or in any case more rotation of troops, at saka maging pawn pa at maging mas evident na pawn nga tayo ng United States in the Indo-Pacific region when you talk about its containment strategy against China.
Magkakaroon di umano ng bilateral meeting sa panig po ng Pangulo ng Estados Unidos at itong si Marcos Jr. Tingin mo may hilot pa ito or baka si Trump ang manghihilot at marami na namang hihingin ang Amerika para sa ating bansa para ikonsidera yung pagbabawas ng taripa?
Yun na nga ang kinatatakot ko, Admar, sa announcement ni Rubio sa Kuala Lumpur na sinasabi niya na parang pupunta ata si President Marcos sa United States at magkikipagkita kay Trump at part of the negotiation ata na mangyayari is yung tariff, and of course it will definitely magdi-discuss yan sila when you talk about security and defense, lalo na't umiinit ang region natin vis-a-vis China at yung issue ng Taiwan at issue ng South China Sea. So ako, nangangamba ako na baka naman ang exchanges na ibibigay ng Marcos Jr. kay Trump, kasi Trump is a very transactional leader that, kailangan mo maibigay sa akin na something para maibigay ko ang gusto mo. Yun exchange deals ang pinag-uusapan dito. So baka naman lalo pang makompromise ang strategic autonomy independence ng ating bansa, lalo na ang soberenya ng Pilipinas, kung ang magiging exchanges as mas marami pang prepositioning ang military assets sa Pilipinas, increase in number of EDCA sites, or in any case more rotation of troops, at saka maging pawn pa at maging mas evident na pawn nga tayo ng United States in the Indo-Pacific region when you talk about its containment strategy against China. Kasi tayo talaga ang kanilang pawn when you talk about this thing. So sana naman isipin ni Marcos Jr. ang Pilipinas at ang mga Pilipino. Kasi ang trabaho niya is ipaglaban ang Pilipinas, ma-ekonomiya man ang pinag-uusapan, ma-economics man ang pinag-uusapan dyan, maging military or defense yan. Hindi para lalo pang ilaglag ang Pilipinas sa kamay ng isang superpower na ang kanyang interes, ang kanyang primordial concern is yung interes niya talaga at hindi interes ng ibang bansa. Take note, ang malinaw naman ang sabi ni Trump, America first, and let's make America great again. At what? At the expense of other countries. And one manifestation of that at the moment across the world is the imposition of tariff. Kaya nga tinatawag mong tariff trade war 2.0 under Trump 2.0. So sana naman maisip ni Marcos Jr. na ang kanyang loyalty supposedly at ang kanyang pangunahing responsibilidad ay ang Pilipinas at ang Pilipino. At ang loyalty niya should be to the flag and to the country, not to the United States. I really hope so.
Marami din nagsasabi na maliit lang din naman na porsyento, no? Itong export natin sa Amerika, kasi nga ang Pilipinas ay mas kilala sa pag-aangkat, no, ng mga produkto. Ano nakikita mo rito, Pro? Ibig sabihin, kaya nating pumihit agad considering ang main export naman natin. Di ko nga alam merong sinasabi sa panig ng gobyerno sa Pilipinas na hindi daw saklaw doon sa taripa yung mga semiconductor, yung mga sa electronics, which is yan yung number 1 natin na ine-export dyan po sa Estados Unidos. Pero ang sabi naman ng Estados Unidos doon sa liham, lahat ng mga produkto.
Lahat ng export.
Opo, pero ganoon pa man, merong din nagsasabi na maliit lang naman itong porsyento, no? Prof, pagdating po sa ambag nito sa ekonomiya.
Yun lang ang sinasabi ko, yun lang ang nakakairita sa ibang nai-interview on this aspect. Parang they're trying to justify what the United States doing to the country pa. Imbis na mag-educate sila na kung ano ang impact nito sa Pilipinas, sinasabi pa nila, oh, it's okay, 20% is not too much. Really? What do you think of the country? Superpower? No. Take note, we're a lower middle income class. Hindi pa tayo nakakaangat doon. Nasa debt trap na nga tayo with our debt ranging to 17 trillion pesos na. At saka nagbabayad pa tayo ng tinatawag mong interest pa lang, hindi pa principal, malaking porsyento na yan sa ating GDP. Tapos sasabihin nila 20% of tariff imposed by the United States is just okay, it's nothing. No, of course not, because we're a small country. Our economy is struggling. So kahit maliit, ang itaas pa niyan is from 17 to 13%, mataas pa rin yan. Kasi bakit? Malaki pa rin ang impact niyan sa Pilipinas. Kasi bakit? Kasi po ang Pilipinas ay hindi economically developed country. Again, we're a lower middle income. Naungusan na nga tayo ng Vietnam, which is a middle income country. And take note, even Vietnam, hindi nag-impose si Trump ng higher or ang pinakamababa ata na binigyan ng tariff ni Trump is Vietnam. So why is it that Vietnam has a lower tariff when Vietnam is not even a treaty ally of the United States? And we are supposed to be the non-NATO major ally in the Indo-Pacific and so-called best friend of the United States in the Asia-Pacific. So bakit tayo mas mataas ang ini-impose na tariff compared to Vietnam? Or bakit ang Vietnam medyo hindi ganun natitiris at tayo tinitiris? So yun yung hindi ko maintindihan sa iba eh. Huwag nating isipin na ang Pilipinas mayaman because we are not. Actually, we're not. We're struggling economy and it's very obvious. Now, ang tanong is dapat siguro isipin din ng current government with this kind of relationship ng Pilipinas sa United States na even if it's a treaty ally, even it's a so-called friend, may ganitong mga imposition when you talk about the economy, penalizing the economy of the Philippines, ano ang gagawin mo? Would you still be that loyal to the United States, or maybe what the next step is for the Philippines under the government of Marcos Jr. to think how to diversify further its economic relation with other countries in the region, especially with BRICS. BRICS, expanded BRICS. Kasi ito yung emerging na mga strong economies right now na competitive at the same time offering an alternative economic framework compared dyan sa United States and the Western Alliance when you talk about economics. So dapat siguro yun ang isipin ng gobyerno, paano mo i-diversify, how can we mitigate this in the long run, not just in the short run. Kasi when you talk about the United States, maybe pagpunta ni Marcos Jr. sa United States at magipag-usap siya kay Trump, sigurado ako may exchanges yan, may deals yan. So, sana naman ang mga deals ay hindi lalong makripple ang ekonomiya or lalong makompromise ang sovereignty ng Pilipinas sa gagawing deals ni Marcos Jr. The only way out really for this kind of situation is for the Philippines to diversify its relation with other countries at hindi maging dependent even in terms of in the economic area and even in the defense and military area. But this diversified, meaning try to have other relationship, economically, defense or military man yan, with other countries in the region, which is I'm referring to the Asia-Pacific region, and even beyond the region. Yun yung kailangan natin para hindi tayo maging dependent at hindi tayo parang easy na mapipressure or easy na maapektuhan kapag may mga ganitong sitwasyon na nangyayari. I think we really have to think of how to be part of BRICS. Imagine, in BRICS, you already have, Indonesia is part of BRICS already as a member. Then you have Malaysia, a partner country. You have Thailand as a partner country. And then you have what? The latest right now is Vietnam. Why do you think the Southeast Asian countries or ASEAN member states, na tayo din is a member state of ASEAN, is diversifying their economy and even their membership. And they are now trying to really be active part of BRICS precisely because of this situation na minsan ang isang superpower, kung kailan nila gusto mag-impose ng anything na gusto nila sa mundo at sa mga bansa sa mundo, gagawin nila. Now, kung wala kang ibang partner, economic partner na malakas na pwede mong asahan na sasalo sa'yo or magiging buffer mo to a greater extent, then kawawa ang bansa natin. So ako, ang sinasabi ko lang, the current government and the succeeding government, kapag katapos nitong Marcos government, sana isipin natin, we need to be part of global and regional organization that offers alternative economic model and economic opportunities for the Philippines para hindi tayo dependent sa United States. Yun ang masasabi ko.